Harry, Jesse Reynolds entered his guilty plea with his head down, and members from Jessica Miller's family were also in court today, which would have been especially grueling as the Crown read details of her last night alive. We heard her toxicology report as well as her autopsy. From that, we learned the official cause of death was asphyxia. We'll have more details tonight at 6. Harry, when Jessica Miller's body was discovered in that wooded area outside of St. John back in July, there weren't any details released about how she got there. But that all changed today as Jesse Reynolds pleaded guilty. We also learned today that Reynolds turned himself in and led police to her body 3 days later. Reynolds is slated for sentencing November 16th. Harry? I'm here on Highway 101, which is a main artery into the community of Hoyt. And if you can imagine, on this 1,000-foot stretch of road, all that remained on that evening of the downpour was the center yellow line and just a few feet on either side of that line. And despite that, people still took the risk of driving into the community, and today the DOT is out in full force, and they're saying that it could take up to 1,000 truckloads of gravel to get it up and running again. Just to give you an idea of how powerful rainwater can be, this used to be a gravel road. Right now it looks like a riverbed, and currently there are 3 homes up this way that are inaccessible. So the rainstorm came a couple of weeks too early for St. Stephen. They were actually in the middle of a major upgrade to their drainage system. I spoke to the mayor, who has seen his town flood many times before. He's hoping that next year will be different.
What's it like out there, Allie?
It's soggy. Southwestern New Brunswick certainly got the brunt of the rainfall last night. That's why we're largely in cleanup mode right now. I'm here in St. Stephen, where we got 133 millimeters of rain, and that is enough to flood dozens of basements. The local fire department had to call in extra resources from neighboring regions. They had nearly 100 pumps going on throughout the town, trying to get some of that water out from these homes. So extensive water damage there, but where the danger comes in is what that water does to the roadways. And if you just take a look behind me here, I'm standing in front of what looks like a pretty big stream, if you will, but normally this is just a small creek with just a small amount of water just trickling down the pebbles here. But right now it looks like a healthy, fast-running stream. But just a few hours ago, it was actually up over the embankment. And what that does is it inundates the soil beneath the roadways, causing dozens of driveways to be totally washed out. And that's a lot of the damage that we're seeing here in St. Stephen today. I'm Alison Chiasson at the Acadian Museum in Moncton, where restoration work just completed on one of their spookiest artifacts. Coming up, we take you beyond the glass dome of this century-old shrine made of wax and human hair. Little else is known of the origin of the memento, but what we do know is that it's in the memory of Anna Duguay, wife of Alfred Le Boutillier. She died June 8, 1910. At 26 years old. I'm Alison Chiasson in St. John. We will bring you the story of one woman looking to give back in a big way. She'll be camping out for 3 days in this 53-foot tractor trailer until it is full of donations to take to a local food bank. It's extreme food driving on CBC News tomorrow. This is where all of those donations will end up. The West Side Food Bank has 11 freezers, shelves that line all along the walls here for dry goods, canned goods, and toiletries. It may look like there is a lot here, but when you service up to 1,000 people per month, you can imagine fundraising events like Andrea's Food Drive are critical. Last week, it was the NDP sending mixed messages about the pipeline, leaving the Conservatives as the only federal party to support the project unconditionally. And it looks like they'll continue to use it to hammer their election rivals right up until voting day in October. Alison Chiasson, CBC News, Fredericton. The first checks went out on Monday, and that makes up about half of the $3 billion Ottawa plans to hand out. The government will claw back $340 million from these lump sum payments, and at the announcement, Pierre Poilievre didn't comment on the timing of the checks, but he did remind New Brunswickers to register online. Alison Chiasson, CBC News, Fredericton. Aside from the call for more investment, the report says that the recommendations can also be accomplished by making changes to how the rivers are currently managed. The artist depicted him here in a tuxedo. Despite the rocky time in office during Canada's Great Recession, it is said that Bennett always dressed impeccably. So he's certainly dressed for a grand arrival in Ottawa, but not so fast. He's off to a temporary storage facility on the Hill until it can be decided upon which plot he'll be standing. No word on how long that process will take, but former Senator Noel Kinsella hopes that he will be facing eastward towards New Brunswick. Alison Chiasson, CBC News, Oromocto.
And in St. John, New Brunswick, there's some colorful support for a woman coping with breast cancer. Her friends have assembled a seasonal welcome at her house. The CBC's Alison Chiasson reports.
They brought me down my own fire hat with my last name and fighter, which I'm fighting.
Deanna King was diagnosed with breast cancer just this March. Her treatment has intensified after it came back last week. But these days, when King comes home to her husband and daughter, she also comes home to a pumpkin patch.
It's so amazing. It's something so small for someone to come and drop off a pumpkin, but it really does mean so much. It's super touching, and coming from a small community, and to know that people are thinking about you and wishing you well and dropping off a pumpkin, it just means a lot. Messages of prayer.
Her friend Charlene Thompson had the idea, rally people in the community to paint their pumpkins pink this year and drop them off on her lawn. Some got the rhinestones out, and many write thoughtful messages.
Deanna's one of the strongest people I know. I'm really impressed with her attitude during her fight. She hasn't missed a beat. She didn't miss any treatments. She hasn't missed a dinner with friends, a shower, a party. She's courageous.
The movement has caught on. Even strangers are dropping them off now. She's at 60 so far, enough to go viral.
And you can take a look at all my pumpkins.
Amazed with the community's support, King sent a video to The Ellen Show, which has been viewed over 100,000 times. She says she's on her way to being a survivor and hopes her pumpkins become a symbol of hope for others like her. So with her viral video and her pink pumpkin patch, Deanna hopes to bring awareness to the importance of early breast cancer detection and even maybe inspire others to pick up a paintbrush and paint a pumpkin pink. Alison Chiasson, CBC News, St. John.